Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Monica of Millie and Monica over on the Poshmark app where I'm a full-time seller, and today's video is all about authenticating Dooney and Bourke purses for either resale or for personal use because of course you want to make sure you're buying authentic whenever you're looking at purses. Okay, so there are a lot of really great fakes out there, so that's why I'm making this video, to help you just quickly identify these bags if you're out at a thrift store or a garage sale or a buy sell trade store or wherever else you might be buying, even online. So these are going to be some quick things to look for, and if you are at all interested in this type of content, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, and if you find this video helpful, please make sure to hit the thumbs up on the way out. Okay, so I have several Dooney and Bourke purses beside me, and some of them are authentic and some of them are fakes. So I'm going to start by showing you just one, and that is authentic. I'm going to show you some things that I look for, and then we'll compare it against a fake. Okay, so here is an authentic Dooney and Bourke, okay, and the first thing I generally will look at is the leather and kind of this logo here, the duck stamp, okay, and this one does say all-weather material. The duck has very clear characteristics of the authentic duck, and the leather of this bag is very soft and kind of flexible. You'll notice that it's very movable in my hand, and when we look at a fake, you'll notice that's not necessarily the case. Okay, so this one, when I open it up, actually there's a couple of other things I should show you. Okay, so this one actually has a fob. Sometimes the fobs on these vintage bags do get lost, or maybe they get torn off or whatever, so if they have a fob, that's great, but that's not to say that they maybe won't have a fob. Okay, so there's the fob, and this is a brass fob. Now the hardware should be brass on an authentic Dooney, and this one does say brass on there. Hopefully you can see it. Now when I do open this up, I want to make sure that I'm looking for this identification or serial tag. So on the back there will be a serial number, and it does say made in the USA. Now there is a website. There's definitely a lot of different websites, but one that I sometimes use or look at is horsekeeping.com, and they have a page about identifying characteristics of authentic Dooneys, and I'll link that down below in case you want to look at their website. They have a lot of photos, they have a lot more information than I am able to give to you right now, so that's just going to be another resource for you. If you want to check that out, I highly would recommend it. But okay, we'll continue. Another thing that I'm looking at when I'm in the inside of this purse is sometimes fakes, like this is black, okay, got a black leather, but sometimes the leather won't match on the inside, so this is just one piece. The suede is on the inner side. Sometimes on a fake you might see black on the outer and then like a tan on the inside, and that would be characteristic of a fake. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually look at a fake and compare them. So this one's probably the closest in maybe what they're trying to replicate, I don't even know. But this bag, now the first thing I'm noticing is the hardware. I have never seen a Dooney and Bourke with this type of clasp closure. The shape of it just seems off. It's kind of this silver color, but then the fob here is trying to replicate brass, so they don't match, and that seems odd. Here's the duck, and you'll notice that the duck actually kind of stands out a little bit further, and compared to this one, they kind of, let's see if you can see it. This one stands out a little bit further than it really should, which is odd as well. And you'll notice that the trim is cracked on this one. So normally a Dooney and Bourke, you're not going to see that leather trim crack. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, so here's where we see the difference in the color. So it's kind of a navy actually here, but then on the inside, the suede is a different color, and it's actually, if you could feel it, there's like two layers almost. Like there's the outer layer, and I can feel like there's a whole nother layer of this tan suede, which is odd again. It's not as flexible, it's not as easy to bend as the first bag that I showed you. And lastly, this one has no serial tag. There's no number, there's no identification tag. Oh, you know that there is a tag in here, but it just says genuine leather. I can't even show it to you because it's so hidden in the corner. But it's just a little white tag. It's definitely not a Dooney and Bourke tag. So that is definitely a clear sign that it's not Dooney and Bourke. And I guess I should show you the stitching, which we'll take a look at the stitching because that's important of the trim. So if you notice the trim here, on the authentic one, the trim is pretty neat and closely cut, but the trim on this one kind of sticks out, whereas the authentic one, that trim, I can't bend it over, okay? So it's stuck down. And the stitching on this, although yellow, the right kind of color, they're wide stitches, whereas the stitching on the authentic one are neat and somewhat smaller stitches. Okay, so let's move on to some other real and fake Dooneys. Okay, so here's a different style of a Dooney and Bourke, and this one, of course, has all the characteristics of a true, authentic Dooney. And again, it does say all-weather material. However, there was a time in the very early 80s when they were first making the bags that they were not using the all-weather leather material, and they were actually using, I think it's like the bridal leather, which was really great leather, but it wasn't necessarily waterproof. So it might not always say all-weather leather, which is really fun to say 10 times fast. Okay, so this one also has the fob, and it has, again, always looking for this. It should be somewhere in the bag. Usually it's up kind of on the side in a corner. This one I really like because on the bottom part of this, they have, it says large hobo, and then made in the US. They have just a little bit more information, which is really nice. Okay. Now I believe on this one, it does say brass as well in some of the fixtures, but I can't remember where it says it exactly. Sometimes it's kind of hidden. But we'll notice again that the stitching is nice and neat along the trim. You cannot pull that trim up like we could in the last one. The leather is really soft and flexible, which is good. Okay, now here's another fake. This one had me for a while, I'm not gonna lie. I truly thought that this was an authentic Dooney. I just thought that for reasons that it was authentic. Now, but looking at it now, I definitely know that it's not. First thing is this leather is not very flexible. It is very, very stiff. Okay, it's very stiff. And it's kind of lined with the material. The leather on the inside here doesn't match, so there's material in this pocket. But then the leather, the suede on the inner doesn't match, okay? There is no serial number. Now, I thought this was authentic because I had once upon a time heard that not all Dooneys have a serial number. Now that is true. The early bags didn't have the sewn in tag like I've shown you in the last two, but they did have an embossed stamp that was the DB for Dooney and Bourke. However, this does not have an embossed stamp anywhere on it, so it definitely can't be that early of an edition. Now, another thing that I noticed when I was looking at this further is how this inner pouch is just really cheap looking, and there was a little tag there that someone did cut off. So this had to have been just a really, I wouldn't say a good fake, but it was a better fake than some. Okay, so this one is clearly not an authentic Dooney. Does have the little feet. I think the style this was trying to replicate actually has more of a swoop design right here. If you are familiar with Dooney and Bourke, it should have more of an arch right in here, and this doesn't. Okay, Now this bag I did purchase for myself online. It has a missing or a cutout tag, but I'm going to show you why I was pretty sure this was authentic. Now, looking at the style and comparing it to the other similar bags of this style that are authentic, it matches up perfectly. I believe this is the equestrian style. The stitching is nice and neat. There is no, I can't pull that trim away. It doesn't have the fob. And that's okay because they can get torn away, they can get lost, and that's fine. Now here on the back is where you see the duck, the Dooney and Bourke, the all-weather leather. Now on the inside, and the leather's nice and flexible, the color matches. On the inside, it has a spot where the tag should be. It was clearly cut out. And to me, I can tell that this was where the Dooney and Bourke was. I researched similar styles to this bag. All the trim looked exactly the same. The stitching looked exactly the same. The color was on par. There's different colors of Dooney and Bourke's. But because I could clearly see that this is where that tag was cut, I was pretty okay with going ahead and making this purchase. I did get it for an extremely good deal. That was part of the reason, obviously, I got it for a good deal is because I was missing that interior tag. It does have some wear, as you could see, the inside had some marks, and there's some little light scuffs on the outer as well, but I kind of bought it just to show you, you can go ahead and buy bags like this if they are still missing that interior label. If you are like 99.9% sure that it is authentic, it has all the markings of an authentic bag. And I just really, personally, I wanted a lighter color Dooney and Bourke for my collection and to carry around. I like the style, I like the closure style of it, where it looks like that when it's closed. So that's nice. Okay, and it's just like crossbody. Okay. Now, we have one more. Okay, sorry, there's the brass. I knew it was on there. Okay, one more fake. And this one, I have to be honest with you. This one really was a big mistake on my behalf. So there's moments where a thrift store is having a great sale and they're just super busy, and you spy an item across the store and you just know what it is, and you rush over and you grab it and you throw it in your cart and you don't even look at it. Well, that's what happened to me with this purse. Comment below if you've ever had a moment like that where you've made a really foolish decision and you should have known better, but you went ahead and bought something that you should not have. Okay, so this is the bag that I spied across the store, and I was like, oh my gosh, how is that just hanging there? How is no one saw this in this packed, crazy sale day? And so I just threw it in my cart and I buried it with clothes because I didn't want anyone to know what I had. I had a fake Dooney. So, yes, I had a fake Dooney. And this is so clearly fake, I don't know how I didn't realize it. As I was paying, I don't know how I didn't realize it. So I get it home and I touch it and I immediately know that I just purchased a fake Dooney. And at the time, I should have returned it. I think I had a week to exchange it. And that store is a little bit out of the way. I really just didn't want to go back. And so I thought, well, someday I'll make a YouTube video. Well, today is that someday, and I'm showing you this fake Dooney, and it is just so clearly fake. So clearly fake. It's not very flexible. It has, I don't know, let me know if I'm not a true Dooney and Bourke, like, expert. I have collected some, and I've done some research, but I've never seen any with a magnetic closure like this. So, this is different. Now the inside is lined. Okay, that should be a clear indicator. It has, oh my, I didn't even look in the inside. It has this little tag right there. Okay, you can see it. That says made in Mexico. That is it. It just says made in Mexico. There's this fabric pouch. This hang tag is awful. I'm going to compare it to another one in just a moment, but the hang tag is just so rough. The back is all chipped up and rough. Like, it does not appear to be like solid brass at all. Let's see, there's like tarnish. Again, my other Dooneys that are authentic do not tarnish in this way. The brass doesn't. The stitching is totally off. The stitches themselves are thicker, and they just don't look quite right. The shape of the duck is all wrong. So how I actually ended up bringing this home, I just really don't know. So I really want to show you or compare I guess it's the hang tag or fob, depending on what you want to call it. I think fob is the best name. So I want to compare these two fobs for you because they definitely do look different. The duck shape is different. I don't even think they're the same size. Yeah, they're not even the same size. So I don't know if you can see that. But they're definitely different, and like I said, I mentioned that website. They have some really clear compare and contrast. One is way lighter, the solid brass is heavier, so that's going to be an indicator as well. So just be careful. This definitely, it just doesn't even feel good in my hands compared to this other one. So it's hard, it doesn't bend. And I just really want to make this video to educate you so that you know what to look out for. I have seen fake Dooneys at buy-sell trade stores, such as Clothes Mentor and Plato's Closet, and I just think it's so important that when you're at those places, you know, especially buy-sell trade stores, you think that they are more educated and wouldn't be selling fakes. But they do sometimes, and you don't know who their buyers are or what their buyers know. And if you're not asking those questions like what's your authentication process, and if you don't know yourself, you could easily pick up a fake. So that's really the whole point of this video. And I do have one more that I want to show you, and that's actually a wallet, and it's my own personal wallet. So there is some stuff in it, so just bear with me. So the wallet is a little bit different. The wallet is normally embossed or stamped, and so that's why I'm just going to go ahead and show you the stamp that you should be looking for in wallets. So it just looks like that, and that's important to be looking for in wallets because they are different. You know, they're not going to have that same tag, and this style of a wallet just has a coin purse on the back. But yeah, so just make sure to look for the stamp if you're looking at wallets. If you have any questions about authenticating Dooney and Bourke, please leave them down below. I'll put in a couple links, of course, to some other sites for doing some research on your own. But I hope this video was helpful in any way, shape, or form. Please give it a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. And of course, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. And as always, I will see you next time.